a bit of, and it's taken a long time because sometimes history needs to be revisited so that the record can be corrected.
Right.
And no matter how long it takes, once new information comes to the fore and apologies are appropriate, they should be given no matter how long it's been since the offense.
Okay.
And you'll all remember there was a moment in time in this boxing universe at the height of 24/7.
Yep.
When we saw Juan Manuel Marquez in his desire to best Floyd Mayweather Jr. in one of the biggest moments in boxing, drink his own urine.
Right.
Which he believed was nutrient filled and would clearly give him an advantage in the fight. Otherwise, why would you be drinking your own urine? And the world at large, after Floyd had the first opportunity on camera to eviscerate Juan Manuel Marquez's decision in what appeared to be an absolutely insane action with no real benefit of drinking one's own urine voluntarily. He wasn't in a desert with literally no sustainable water source. And we thought he was absolutely crazy. And there was no benefit to that whatsoever. And then he went on to lose the fight with a belly full of urine. Just crazy. But it has come to our understanding of late. This week, a headline from the medical profession. And now what I have to do is I should have had this queued up, but I am going through Sean Zatel's DMs as I incessantly send this man everything that comes across the wire that gets my attention.
Thank you for doing so, Raheem.
Like, I do not. You probably have your notifications turned off because of me.
No,
because I mean, on a you know what I mean.
It all gets viewed.
This is my guy, and I sent him, and you'll remember the caption is "We owe Marquez an apology." Yeah. And we do.
They found 140 stem cells on average in a full 24-hour urine sample. They then let them age for 3 weeks. It proliferated into 100 million stem cells. While you ask that question, 2022, Wake Forest University take an NIH grant and they fund a urine-derived stem cell study. They take 10 healthy adult males, which just means that they're just regular people. They don't have some chronic condition. They found 140 stem cells on average in a full 24-hour urine sample. So that's there. But 140 is not a lot. They then let them age for 3 weeks.
So you ferment the stinky pee?
You can. It's an option. When they did, it proliferated into 100 million stem cells at a rate of 1 × 10 to the power of 8 in a 3-week period. So 140.
I mean,
10 to the power of 8 is a lot.
I mean, this might have been the original PED.
The P. Well, I want to thank you because no, that was great. That was great. That was good. I want to thank you because, see, every show hopes to have a high water mark, right, in the zenith. But you also have to, with the highs come the lows, and you have to set a floor. And I want to thank you because we have now set the floor for that. Well,
dare I say, Sean, we've raised the watermark with urine.
Yeah, no,
Sometimes you gotta fill the tank with a little pee.
Yeah, as Floyd Mayweather called him, the pee-pee man has now been vindicated 16 and a half years later. Okay.
Yeah. Listen, justice delayed is justice denied. And we are the only official apologists in the entire world of boxing who all had a good laugh at this man. And we're the only ones with the integrity, the sense of justice to come forward and formally apologize to Juan Manuel Marquez
The great.
And potentially.
The great Juan Manuel.
The great. For finding a legal PED.
Legal PED. You're right. Hey, in an era where, that fourth Pacquiao fight, both guys, who knows? Okay? Only God. Okay? And their strength coaches.
PED.
But before that, a legal PED. A legal PED by Juan Manuel Marquez. And it's just a shame that it took however many episodes and hours of duration for Juan Manuel Marquez to get mentioned on the show. Juan Manuel Marquez, one of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time, one of the greatest counterpunchers of all time. Little tidbit about Juan Manuel Marquez. Esau Dieguez, one of the 3 trainers of Terrence Crawford, alongside Red Spikes and, of course, Bo Mac, Brian McIntyre. I'm at the UFC Performance Institute. Don't know if I'll be able to be around there ever again. But back when I was in there, I go, because I know he held the mitts a lot for Bud, as does the other 2 coaches. And I said, who Terrence reminds me of in his own way a little bit is Juan Manuel Marquez. Marquez was usually a slow starter and then a brilliant offensive counterpuncher who would put counterpunches together in bunches, not just pot shots, right? And I said, in his own way, Terrence reminds me of Marquez like that. And he goes, well, actually, ever since he was a teenager, that is who I am holding the mitts for and practicing him to be like, is exactly Juan Manuel Marquez. And when I saw Marquez recently at a fight, we spoke in Spanish, and I told him, hey, a lot of the things I implement with Terrence come from you and your style. So, little tidbit of there for the great Dinimita Marquez. And also, you said on the Joe Rogan podcast, the greatest fight you had ever been to was Marquez and Pacquiao 4. And another, but to take it down a notch, one great memory I have of you and with Raheem as it pertains to Juan Manuel Marquez. Shout out to Tim Bradley, great friend of the show. I'm picking Marquez to beat Tim because Marquez is 10 months fresh off of knocking out Pacquiao in the knockout of the millennium, let alone decade, right? And after we're sitting next to each other in December 2012 when he knocks out Pacquiao, and you go, he should just crowd surf to Mexico. Never box again. It's never going to get better than this. He should just crowd surf to Mexico. He didn't. He wound up fighting Tim Bradley at Thomas and Mack 10 months later. And Tim just went life or death with Ruslan Provodnikov. And he just knocked out Pacquiao. So I'm doing the math in my head and going, yeah, Marquez is going to beat Tim. And you go, no, he's not. He can only beat Pacquiao. And I'm like, what do you mean? He beat Barrera. He beat Casamayor. And he goes, he can only beat Pacquiao. He's not going to beat Tim. He's going to lose. Bradley's going to beat him. And then Tim Bradley beat him. And then he fought Mike Alvarado at a fight you probably covered at the Forum. And went out on a high note in a really good fight on HBO. Retired off a pretty good win over Alvarado. So I just had to, since we're talking Juan Manuel Marquez, I had to share that Radio Raheem story about Marquez. Always had a feel for Juan Manuel Marquez, Radio Raheem.
Of all the fighters who stayed too long, who came back out of retirement, who got knocked out of the ring after an incredible career, and then fatefully calling themselves special and somebody else common. Of all the moments I wish a fighter had made a different choice on the trajectory of his career, Roy Jones, who I believe is actually the best fighter of all time, staying way too long, knowing that there's knockout reels that Floyd can sit in front of and troll him with. Hurts my heart. But Roy Jones is second to the one choice that I thought was the most obvious choice, that sometimes wakes me up in the middle of the night and just says, how did you not do that? Juan Manuel Marquez would not have just now been mentioned on this show or any other show for the first time tonight if he had indeed climbed over the top rope. And when I say climbed, I mean lifted by his team and handed to the ring girls would have caught him and literally crowd surfed from Vegas across the southern border into Mexico through the hands of the ancestors and contemporaries and the youth alike, and never left the country. Like, just, he would be king of Mexico to this day.
Yeah.
Chavez would come to his home, and they would break bread.
They would share the kingdom.
I'm saying break bread. I didn't say he was serving the bread.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
This is the greatest mistake I've seen a fighter make in the trajectory of his career, because to me it was the most obvious choice, and the fact that I will never know if I was as right as I believe I am, or get to see him play that out. The thing he said to me in the week leading up to the fight, in an interview that's on camera, when he had written a book about his life and the Pacquiao chapter in it, he said to me, "Pacquiao stole my life." That's when I knew he was going to win that fight. He got his life back and then gave it back. Instead of being crowd surfed through the desert, he handed it to Desert Storm.
Hey, which I'm happy about in the long run. That's my guy.
I'm not. Bradley didn't need that win. We could have beat anybody else.
That win put Bradley in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
And celebrity can be
he's going in with or without Marquez.
Celebrity could get the better of you. He gets to be a mortal, and that might be better than being immortal in some way. I love where you took it, but as you're saying it, being that false idol can make a monster of a man. So he might have been good for him. Might have got the best of both worlds.
I promise you. And how many years has it been? 13, 15, or more?
Going on 14.
14.
Damn, we're getting old.
He would be spoken of in
sure.
such high regard.
He'd be above Canelo. Yeah.
Yes, you wouldn't talk about Mexican boxing without bringing up Marquez.
Yeah.
I would say with the same frequency. People would be arguing. You know what I mean? Forget about even what we say. Just the way that this man would be received wherever he went would be entirely different. I could not believe he gave that back. But I digress. This is one of the many heartbreaks. Many of the heartbreaks living in this sport for the entirety of my life.
Random sentence. Not really. Floyd IV drain. Okay? Because because the Pacquiao and Marquez fans are gonna get at it. Oh, PEDs, and you mentioned the fourth fight, how they both look. What about Floyd? What about Floyd IV drain? Okay, all right, there you go. There's all your whataboutisms in one. There you go. All right, fourth fight, Pacquiao Marquez. Floyd IV drain. Okay, equal opportunist. Are we good? I'm sorry. I know I care too much what they to say, Raheem. I do, but